Good morning from Shanghai, China. I'm Peter Marshall. I'm an RIBA architect living and working in China these past 15 years or so. Recently 5 years based here in Shanghai as an architect director for BDP. I thought rather than just sit in the office and make a message to you guys in the UK, I would show you some of the cities. And you can see here we are about 9:45 in the morning, post, at the end of rush hour. You can see the city is busy again, the city is functioning. And just as a sort of little side, this is sort of how Shanghai, China cities, Asia cities have adopted this sort of modern life. The sort of high technology traffic goes on elevated roads. They weave their way through the cities in sort of very dramatic fashion. The old city, the historic city, it goes underneath these roads. So you get this incredible duality between modern life, transport, it's constantly flowing, moving. Underneath goes the historic city of people, of bicycles, now e-bicycles, probably more e-bicycles in China than anywhere else on the planet. So I'm very pleased to report that the whole culture of cycles, bicycles, e-bicycles, that's really returned to China. But then if we could just come back to the sort of reason for this message today is it's hard to imagine that we've just seen the end of March, but 2 months ago this was a ghost city. Down there was no activity. Those major motorway scale roads, they were empty. There was no traffic, no streets, there was no people, there was no bicycles, there was no e-bicycles, there was no movement at all. When the news from Wuhan broke in sort of mid-January before Chinese New Year, the city went very quiet very quickly. There was no point in anybody trying to control news out of Wuhan. That was a pointless, impossible thing to try because China is such a connected society. Everybody knows what's going on in China. We all have our mobiles. We all have our apps. In China, we have an app called WeChat. Pretty much 90% of China population WeChats. It talks to one another and shares information. So even before the government made the official announcement about the problems of Wuhan, all of the cities knew what was going on, and citizens started to take their own precautions before the government made any announcements. Then we had sort of the sort of stages of government lockdown of Wuhan, followed by other cities making their own precautions. But clearly what was evident was a city where the population was afraid, it was scared, it was staying indoors. Generally the citizens of this big city, this is a city of like 15 million people, and it was a ghost city, and everybody's staying at home in their communities. One of the things about life in China cities is residential communities are a little bit sort of gated, so a lot of people were encouraged to stay home. There was a massive boom in logistics and home delivery, so everybody started ordering all their essentials, their groceries, their medicines, everything they needed, ordering online. So clearly the sort of big logistics industries here in Shanghai have had a massive sort of growth spurt, and there's been so many new sort of delivery men on e-bicycles and e-scooters zigzagging around the city delivering. So clearly the sort of work from home, stay home, don't travel policy, it worked. It had a dramatic effect. So stage one of this, this really sort of very difficult, complicated situation was the sort of lockdown stage where people are pretty afraid and don't want to go out. The city's a ghost city, and that took about 3 to 4 weeks to sort of work its way through the system. And then we go into what I'll call stage two, which is stage two, people start to come out a little bit more. Life is starting to sort of, it's going on, it hasn't ended. There's virus controls in place where the country and the city governments are all working together carefully. So stage two is the sort of start to some sort of return of activity. We chose to come back to our office quite early. We were one of the early restarters, sort of mid-February, so after a sort of extended Chinese holiday of a couple of weeks, we're then coming back to the office from sort of mid-February. Some companies were coming back to the office at the end of February. Some companies continued, more the sort of international companies, they continued work from home throughout March. So some of the sort of large international companies had an extended sort of work from home program. Now we're into sort of stage 3 of events, and we're into sort of new normal, if you want to call it that, and working arrangements. So some things are continuing. So everywhere you go, you're going to have your health check. Your temperature's going to be taken. You're going to sanitize. So every front door, every community, every office building, every shopping mall has got health checks, which is a good thing. It's very reassuring. So maybe that's something in society that's going to continue. Our projects are continuing in China. The commercial projects haven't stopped. They're all ongoing, which is good news. We are having lots of meetings, but all those meetings are video meetings, so they're all high-tech meetings. The previous era of traveling around China and meeting your clients on site, and your client might be in Beijing, but their project could be in Chengdu and you're based in Shanghai. So that could be a lot of intercity travel via plane and via bullet train, but right now that's cancelled. We're all doing video conferencing, and the clients like that. It's very efficient on everybody's time, so that might be something that becomes part of the new normal. We might have a more efficient life. So I think what I've witnessed is those sort of 3 stages that we've evolved through, from the sort of early stage of being in a ghost city, which is very scary, when a city of 15 million people locks down. Everybody's going to be worried, and then you go into stage 2, which is a gradual staggering of return to life, returning of businesses, returning of culture and street life and bicycles. And then we're into stage 3 now, where it's not the same as it was before, and maybe it never will be. Maybe we'll always have this adjusted way we operate. In many ways that's a good thing. You guys in the UK right now are in stage 1. It's the most difficult stage. It's where there's a great deal of uncertainty, and being locked down at home has its problems and its dangers. So right now times are complicated, but I think we'll get through. We architects are going to be in great need even more when life settles down and there's a lot of things to be retrofitted, modified, rebuilt, rethought. So I think we architects have an even more important role to play when this whole world virus has passed through and we go into a regrowth phase. So everybody please stay safe, stay healthy, learn new skills, and I invite you all to come here and visit us, RIBA China chapter. This year we are formally up and running in Shanghai, so come and visit us in Shanghai, and let's get more British architecture, more British buildings on that city skyline.